We are diving into UI components, the basic building blocks of our application interface. We will cover the most commonly used widgets like text, button, image, text field, checkboxes, sliders, cards, and more. By the end of this video tutorial, you will be ready to create interactive and beautiful UI using Jetpack Compose. So let's get started. So here you can see that I have defined the basic text. Okay, now you need to pass the text, then you need to pass the color. Okay, and purple 40. Okay, now let's run the application. You can see here you can pass the parameters using these parameters. Okay, if you want to apply custom fonts, then you need to define the font style as well. Okay, I will show you how to define custom font in future tutorials. Okay. You can see here. Okay, now if you want to apply a click action on this, then you can modifier. We will do modifier dot clickable. Okay, and now dot make text. You need to pass the context which we can get from here using this code local context dot current. Okay, it will give you the context of this class, or you can say this composable. Okay, m context comma text is clicked and then show. Okay, now let's run the application again. If you want to make button, text, anything clickable, then you need to pass this modifier. Okay, otherwise the composable is not, or you can say UI is not clickable. You can see here. Okay. Now let's try the button composable button. We need to pass two things. Okay, we need to pass on click method. Okay, and text. Okay, text click me. Okay, on click toss or make text and context comma button is clicked. Okay, okay, now let's run the application. Also you can customize the button color as well. Let me show you in you can see here. Okay, now if you want to pass the customize the button color, then you can color button defaults dot button color. Okay, and you need to pass the container color. Okay, now run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now let's change the row into column with column. Okay, so that it can show the previous composable horizontal arrangement alignment. Okay, and vertical. Okay, now we need to try the icon. So icons, hold on, icons, oh, you can see here. Okay, we need to import this. Okay, let's run the application again. You can see the parameters here. Okay, you can see here. Okay, if you want to apply different color, like you can see here it's in black. Now if you want to change color like this, tint color and purple 80. Okay, now let's run the application again. You can also define the size as well, like this modifier dot size you can see here like 100.dp. Okay, you need to import the dp extension as well. You can see here. Okay, now let's run the application again because we have modified the size. Okay, you can see here. Okay, let's change it to 50. Okay, now we need to work with image composable. So we need to write image. Okay, painter resource dot drawable dot images. Okay, now we need to define content description as well, like you can see null. Okay, now if you want to describe how the contents, how the it's showing, like fit to fill max fit. Okay, so you can see content scale, contents dot, for the time being we need to define none. Okay, let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, if you want to apply try different content scale, so you can see like fill max width or fill bounds. Okay, so let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now we need to try the another composable which is called TextField. So let's make a few changes. Val text is equal to remember mutable table state of. Okay, so when you enter the text in the text field, then it will make sure that if the when the composable is recomposed, then we need to store the last saved value. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, text field value text field value like ABC 1 2 3. Okay, comma label it's we need to pass the composable text you can see here like enter name. Okay, now we do need to define on value change. Okay, let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now like for example we don't need to pass the value, and we do not need to use this. Okay, let's comment it. Okay, and it. Okay, now let's run the application again. Okay, you can see here whenever I need to enter the value, then you can see here it's not updating. Okay, that's why we need to use the this variable. Okay, remember keyword. Okay, text is equal to 8. Okay, dot value. Okay, dot value. Okay, let's run the application again. Danish. Okay, you can see here. Okay, now the value is stored inside this variable. Okay, if you want you can see here. Look, you can text is equal to. Okay, and you can see here whenever the value changes, then it will update the Again, now Danish. Okay, you can see here. Let's remove this text. Okay, now we are going to work with checkboxes. Okay, so we need to create another remember keyword, remember variable like is checked is equal to remember table state of false. Okay, because like the state should be like false for now. Okay, checkbox. Okay, checked. Okay, you can see here. Okay, it will auto complete for me. Okay, let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now if you want to implement the checkbox like to verify the checkbox true or false, then you can verify this like this text. Okay, or let's run the application again. You can see here check is equal to false, true, false, true, false. Okay, let's remove the for now this text. Now we need to work with the switches. Okay, check is equal to is check dot value. Okay, on check changed, you can see here. Okay, now if I applied the check is checked using this, then it will automatically switch the turn on the switch. Okay, you can see the demo. Okay, because I have used the same variables for these both. Okay, checkbox and switch. Okay, you can see here. Okay, now if you want to differentiate, then you can see you need to create a new variable is switch check. Okay, and is switch check value is switch check. Okay, now let's run the application again. You can see here when I click on checkbox, then the states of the switch, this switch is not turned on. Okay, because I I have defined different variable. Okay, now let's vertical lemon dot top. Okay, and now we need to define ready button. Okay, while options, list of like option. Okay, now you can see here. Okay, no, it's wrong. Options dot for each is kind of for loop. Okay, row vertical alignment dot center vertically. Okay, now radio button selected is equal to option we need to pass it, or you can say like option 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 sorry we need to create another variable called selected option. Okay, is equal to dot value comma on click okay. Now we need to create text and option. Okay, now let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now we need to show like we need to work on another composable which is called progress bar. So linear progress indicator sorry progress okay is deprecated. Why? Let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now let's remove this code for now. Go up and create a wall slider value equal to remember notable state of 0. Okay, now we need to define like slider value slider composable and value slider value dot value and on value change on Okay. Let's run the application again. Sorry. You can see here. Okay. Now let's implement the progress bar. For 0.5 f instead of 0.5 f, we need to pass the like slider value. Okay. Let's run the application again. Color should be like black. Color dot hold on, let me see the color here. Pink 40. Okay. Pink 40. I need to invert that. Tracker like should be like purple 40, and cap color like color dot black. Okay. Modifier let's see. Yes, you can see. Okay, let's run the application again. I should have passed the stroke cap instead of passing color to this parameter. You can see here. Okay. Let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, this line, this linear progress indicator is updating. Okay, it's ready because I am using this variable, okay, on slider and linear progress indicator. Okay, same variable. Okay, now like I need to define like show another composable which is called divider. Divider is deprecated, so it should be like vertical divider. Modifier sorry, modifier dot height 20.dp. okay, now we need to copy and cut this line, and we need to paste this line here. Okay, let's see, it will create the between the divider. Okay, you can see here. Now we need to define horizontal divider, and we need to define modifier dot fill max fill. Okay, and the color should be black, color dot black. Okay, let's run the application again. You can see now we need to add some spacing. Okay, so we need to use spacer modifier modifier dot height 20.dp. okay, let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, another composable which is called card. We need to define some parameters here, like colors is equal to card default dot card colors, and container colors it's like pink 40. Now we need to define elevation card default. Okay, now we need to define modifier dot fill max width. Okay, now we need to define inside the composable which is called like text. This is a card. Let's run the application again. We can define another parameter which is called shape, a rounded corner shape. Okay, like this 30 dp. okay, you can see here. Okay, hold on, let's add the spacing here, modifier. Okay, now let's run the application again. You can see here. Okay, now we can align the now we can change the color. Hold on, let me change it color to white. Let's run the application again. Padding 10.dp dot. Okay, now let's run the application again. you can see here. Okay, now we like I want to explore the show the scaffold. What is scaffold? So basically scaffold is help you to architecture your app layout with app bar, fab, icon and more. For example, you need to like top bar, top, app bar, okay, title, okay, material field, okay. Now we can define other things which is called floating action button. We need to define the composable, which is like okay. Now let's run the application again. You can see the top bar appear here and the floating action button here like this. Okay, you can see here. Okay, now you can customize the like this color, dot colors, purple 40. Okay, now let's run the application again. You can see the parameters here. Okay, you can also define the stack bar. Okay, for this tutorial, if you have any question or query, then let me know in the comments.